Welcome to the Classy Zombie. Please subscribe, follow, and if you think we are worth, give a like.
Today we find ourselves at Benson Park, what used to be Benson Wild Animal Park. It was a zoo slash animal distribution company, I guess, owned by the Benson family. It's been turned into a beautiful park since, but they've left remnants of the old animal park, which are fascinating and a little creepy. So we'll take a look at those sites. And just for information, Benson Park closed in 1987. What they did was house and train and exhibit animals that were on television. They sold to other zoos around the country. So it was really a business of dealing in wild animals. And when I say wild animals, I'm talking about elephants, lions, gorillas, zebras, a little bit of everything. So let's go take a look at the dark side of Benson Park. I want you to see what they chose or had to leave from the previous park. The park sat in disrepair from 1987 to about 2018 when the town took it over and refurbished it. But in those years between 1987 and 2018, you can imagine the park was in horrible disrepair, needed a lot of TLC, but it was really too much, and financially it was a real burden. So they left half the park and some other parts of the park with its old animal history. You can see up ahead the barn. That used to be the elephant enclosure. And we're going to head up that way and see some other creepy stuff. If this looks like a train depot, it's because it actually is. There, from the 40s until the 70s, I believe, there was a train that ran from Boston to the park. It was so popular that it had its own train line. And this is a remnant of that, the train station. So this was really a business. I guess all zoos are a business, but this was a private family business. There were no regulations. They did have folks coming, like you saw on the train, and making a day of being at the park and having lunch and looking at the animals and walking the trails. This is not an original, no, this is not one of the original trails. Down there is one of the original trails. And it skirts the entire park. There's a pond where they had flamingos. Imagine in this weather. I don't know what they did with them. They probably sent them off to zoos. And here is a duck enclosure. That has not changed very much. Again, not very large. They also had other waterfowl with a waterfall. I don't know if the flying birds were clipped, but I've heard nothing of them getting out, leaving, nothing about that. And this is I think this is one of the creepiest things. You'll see why. This bridge is new, obviously. This was completed by an Eagle Scout doing some renovation here. And this shoe was here. It's been painted since. But let's go look inside. This was for children. Let's go upstairs. It was obviously for, let's see what the plaque says first. Shoes located on Storybook Hill. The shoe has changed color several times. When the park was open, it sometimes had either a cast person or a mannequin inside. It was restored as a Cub Scout project with Rapaldi construction. The waterway beneath the shoe may be restored in the future, and the wooden bridges were built as Eagle Scout projects. It's under surveillance. Don't climb up on the shoe. I was hoping I could climb the shoe. Lawyers, huh? Take a look at this. Is this not the creepiest thing in the world? Let me see if I can get it clear. All right, so there's this lady. Oh, there we go. This lady waving. There's an old-fashioned oven. And then there are 2 boxes of collagen soup. And some creepy pictures up top. And, of course, a rocking chair. Okay. And a keypad, because everyone wants to go into this creepy little room and see what's in there. It has a really musty smell. It has a 40-year-old uncared for smell to it. Very weird and creepy. I love the College Inn. That's great. I'm sure that's what they were using in this time period. There's continued work going on. You can see some sponsorship. This is actually, they turned the elephant enclosure into a gift shop, which is currently not open, but they sell t-shirts and mugs and this was a lion enclosure here. And you can see the bars are still there. They've locked them up, but the rusted lion enclosure and the doors for the lions back there. Elephants were on this side, I believe. And I'm sure they had kids playing in here, so they closed it up. I always find zoos a little creepy, and I think now with the awareness of animal cruelty, a lion shouldn't live in a cage this size. And with a cement floor, I don't think they made any huge changes from the way it looked, but this was not ideal. I don't need to tell anyone this was not ideal for an animal as majestic and as large as a lion. I'll give you another look at this monstrosity. They did not have animals in there. I'm surprised they didn't shove some orangutan in there. And I am going to try not to fall down the steps as I film. So there's another bridge here. The bridges are beautiful. They did a really nice job with those. And there are information plaques around. I'm not 100% familiar with this part of the park. I do go to the dog park, which is across the street, which is a very nice dog park. This is just a memorial, not just, but for Diane Archie, it's pretty important. I don't know who Diane Archie is. And here's another. They made a really big deal about this shoe. And here's the rhyme. I didn't know there was a second half. She gave them some broth. Oh, that explains the collagen. Without any bread, the hell is wrong with her? She kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. I really didn't know that part of the nursery rhyme. Now I do, and I'm so much better for it. Some trails. Let's go down one of the old original trails. Again, trying not to fall down the stairs. Okay. other than the creepy factor, it is a really beautiful park and very well maintained. Probably better maintained than it was when the Benson family owned it. And this was an elephant enclosure. I believe they were chained. I don't know of any accidents or injuries or anything like that. I've looked into it, and either they've hidden that fact or there really was no problem. But I have a hard time believing that nothing odd happened here. There's just a sense, you get somewhere and there's just a sense that things are not perfect. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Although I've heard many people say that this is one of the creepiest places in the area. It's another fowl enclosure. Fowl and fowl. So interesting that it's exactly as it was. It's like a frozen part of time. We will go to the memorial, but I want to show you three other parts of the park. There is a large pond, man-made, where they load it now with fish, and I believe they've always done that because the information about the park, the brochures that I've seen, talks about bring your fishing pole and go fishing in our pond. So we'll go take a look at the pond as well. This is a popular place for graduation photographs, wedding, engagement photographs. My children had their graduation photographs done here in the park. This is an overlook. This was used to view animals on display below, or a variety of animals, including alligators, llamas, bison, yak, and deer. Sounds like a good combination. You can see the remnants of the alligator pool where performances were held. I'm sure those were very ethical performances involving wrestling poor animals. And I'm not a huge, I'm not a PETA, but animals were horribly abused for a very long time. I'm happy to see that there have been some changes made and some consciousness spread about the use of animals for entertainment. So that's the alligator pool. Nice and huge, right, for alligators. It's about the size of 3 hot tubs, maybe. It's a beautiful overview if you don't take that stuff into consideration. And of course, being creepy, I take that stuff into consideration. I'm not sure how many acres the park covers, but it is very large. There are trails there. There's some hiking trails that we'll take a look at. There's some natural bodies of water around the park that are really beautiful. I can't disparage it for being a beautiful spot. Just don't like the history. I don't like a history of a lot of things. It's gazebo, great photograph spots all around, beautiful manicured trees. They really have put a lot into this park, into the refurbishment. And I think they just leave the other areas as reminders. The town is very proud of this park. There's a lot memorializing this park, so it's not like a shameful brush it away, ignore it kind of thing, but it was for many years. Think about it, from 1987 to 2017 or 18, nothing being done, not even really being spoken about, from what I understand. My mother-in-law worked at this park as a teenager selling popcorn. A tribute to the 250th anniversary of our country. for dogs to urinate on. And you can see the pond really is beautiful. And people taking advantage of it by laying on the grass, reading books, just relaxing. It's a beautiful day. There's a light breeze. It's not too warm. And with the tree cover here, you can see some giant, beautiful trees here. With the tree cover, there's always a little breeze. Another scenic overlook. I don't know what type of animal or if this was even used as an enclosure. This is what this park should be all about. Kids looking for tadpoles, enjoying nature, learning. Let's see what's here. They didn't put signs for everything, so some of the enclosures you have to guess what they were used for. Obviously, this was the squirrel enclosure. Where is he? There he is. Two of them. All right, let's head down this trail. We'll head toward the pond. Pond's a little scummy, the way us creepy zombies like it. Sunnies and other smaller fish. No one's fishing today. It's usually many folks walking their dogs here, although there's a dog park, a very nice enclosed dog park across the street, like I mentioned. I do take my dogs there quite often. Nice sentiment from the Specht family. Trying not to get the kids in the video. And of course, someone had to graffiti this wall. I can appreciate good graffiti, but what the hell is this? Smudge red and smudge blue. Ridiculous. This is another enclosure. We're going to go to my favorite enclosure. See if it's open. Let's see what this is. Oh. Concrete walls were adjacent to the bear cages. Around the corner, stone stairs and a stone wall were found by volunteers during cleanup in 2012. The stairs and walls were restored by volunteers. So I guess 2012 they really started on doing it, but it did not open until just before COVID. Or about, 2019. So here was the bear enclosure, which was, the bears were down here. And considering this is an area with wild bears, sure would have been nice if they were out in nature instead of being monetized. I'm getting preachy. I'm going to stop. It's my favorite enclosure. The Gorilla House was the home of Colossus, whose real name was Tony. Tony lived in a climate-controlled room surrounded by glass. Tony used to watch TV in the back rooms. He was sold to a zoo in Florida and later to a zoo in Cincinnati, Ohio, where he died while having dental work done. And let's take a look at Colossus or Tony. Here he is, gigantic. This is when they found it. And there's another picture of it crumbling. And here it is now. Used to be able to go inside. Just go close enough to see. Nope, they locked it. Someone must have gotten hurt. But this was Tony's house. And evidently there's a man cave back there where he watched TV and had air conditioning. This is disintegrating in itself. A-frame. The A-frame used to be a series of smaller buildings that were in disrepair. Among its many uses, it had been a pizza place and also a gift shop. It's now a picnic area overlooking the amphitheater. So there's the amphitheater. And we'll take a look at the restored A-frame. Nice little spot to have a picnic. I've seen birthday parties here. Seen all kinds of things happening there. Graduation parties. I think you just have to call the town and reserve it. Here's one of the hiking trails. There are also some down there. There's a half-mile loop and a 1-mile loop back there. There's some real nature, a squirrel, and about 10 feet away from the squirrel is a rabbit. They're both posing. There's a beautiful playground. I just don't want to film children playing, but it's very nice and very modern. There's a very moving firefighters memorial. We'll go take a look at that. And there's information on the floor dedicated to the men and women of the Hudson Fire Department. And then there's bricks to fund the memorial. And there's this beautiful depiction of a fireman rescuing a child, firemen doing their work. We serve you well. When duty called with striking bell, we did our best, we served you well. Through raging flame and pits of hell, we were there and we served you well. As soldiers of smoke, we fought, we fell. Know our love, we served you well. Must be a fireman's poem. And the memorial is dedicated to the men and women of the town of Hudson Fire Department who answer the call of duty as protectors of its citizens no matter what peril. Memorial to Captain Roger Spooner, and a fire bell dedicated to those who gave their lives in the line of duty. James Taylor. This is really a beautiful tribute and very moving. So we'll walk down the memorial. It's not just a statue shoved in the middle of a place, but every aspect of that day. 8:46 and 26 seconds, Flight 11 impacts the North Tower of the World Trade Center. So you're walking down the timeline. You can read for yourself. I won't read each one. 9:02. 9:37. For those of you that remember that day, it's one of those days that'll be etched in your memory forever. This is Very moving. The collapse. This is so beautiful. Gave a lot of thought. (10:28). North Tower collapses. I don't know if you can see that with the sun. In honor of our military men and women who dutifully serve to protect our freedom. Never forget. Depiction of the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and the grassy field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Entrance to this memorial follows the flight path of Flight 77 into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia. And this is the column on the left is part of the elevator of the World Trade Center. Go a little closer. Very moving. When they brought the column in, it was brought on a flatbed fire truck, and people stood at attention along the road. Pretty beautiful tribute. An unfortunate need for a tribute. There's too much tragedy, too much sadness in this world. So you have to focus on the things that make us happy and get us through the day. So stay creepy, stay fun, stay positive, and most of all, stay safe.
Subscribe to the Classy Zombie. Stay creepy.